Hey guys, welcome to another replay commentary. Today we're gonna analyze a loss and a lot of things that went wrong in this game, not only for me but also for my teammates. Before we start this whole thing, I just want to point out that obviously I'm going to point out a lot of mistakes people make. That doesn't necessarily mean that I think that these people are really bad at the game or something, but in this game specifically there were so many things that went wrong and that really angered me while I was playing the game. But if we look objectively at some things, we can learn from them. Specifically, also talent choices and some of the decision making. Important to know is that you should normally not do very critical analysis of things in your games. So while you're playing them, I mean. So if you're in a Hero League game and things are going wrong, you should never just like look at who made the mistake or who to blame or whatever, because it will just lead you to have a pretty negative mindset towards most of the things. So if you look at replays, though, you can definitely see like, hey, this went super bad. I didn't do this well, and my teammates didn't do this well. With the premise that you want to get better at the game. You don't want to point out mistakes that other people make for the sake of blaming them or saying like, oh, because of this we lost the game. Sure, there's going to be situations where people make decisions that will lose the game because that's how, games end. But what you should be doing is not like, oh, this dude lost me the game, so it means that I should be higher in ranking because it's this dude's mistake. It's rather to look at the mistakes that they made and you yourself not repeating them. With that out of the way, let's have a look at the lineups and the banning and picking in this game. So we have the blue side and the red side. I'm on the red side of Hanzo. We on the red side had first pick. We banned Diablo. I picked Hanzo. Then they banned Phoenix. They banned Phoenix obviously before I picked Hanzo, but that was the first pick. And then they picked Brightwing and Malthael. We followed up with Chromie and Stitches. Then there was two more bans in Garrosh and Malfurion. We had the second phase starting with Murden and Kel'Thas on their side. And then we picked Rhaegar and Falstad, as well as their last pick is Genji. So it was the first thing that we can see is that we don't have a solo laner, and they have Malthael. So that's already a little bit of an issue. Our draft is also something that I really personally don't like in Hero League is triple range assassins. We have Hanzo, Chromie, and Falstad. That means that in all of our situations, we might be getting bombed by Kel'Thas because we have to stick together to do our damage. Like, we're all range assassins, we all try to stay away from the enemy. So that's a big issue. Other than that, we also don't have follow-up on Stitches at all. Like, we have the slow totem on Rhaegar, cool. But we don't have any hard CC on that. Generally speaking, you want to have hook into something. So hook into Utherstan, hook into Kel'Thastan, hook into Malfurion roots, hook into something that can secure the kill. We don't have anything like that, which makes the game a lot harder and Stitches a lot less valuable. If you look at talents, on the blue side, we're seeing pretty much standard talents. Block against Hanzo is pretty good, and also against the expected, what is it called? I always forget. Bronze talents, there you go. So block is really good. Swift Strike on a Pale Horse for double soaking, and then a good Kel'Thas who picks Mana Addict over Convection. So the first couple of minutes are actually pretty normal, pretty standard, nothing too crazy happens. I'm trying to stack, and I don't play Hanzo that much. I was just at a point yesterday where I just wanted to play something for the sake of playing it, and not because it's a good hero. You shouldn't do that normally, but I played like 12 games or something in Hero League, and I just was at the point where I was like, I don't really care anymore if I win or lose. I just want to try to see if I can win with this hero, who I trained a little bit, but I didn't like put in lots of times. And you will see it because I miss a lot of auto attacks. And you should always do that with Hanzo. So now we're at the position where I get pinged because nobody's bottom lane, and that's an issue. But neither Chromie or I should be bottom lane. It should either be Falstad or Stitches. Stitches has pretty okay wave clear with Heavy Slam at the level 1. He obviously suffers against Malthael, but Hanzo doesn't have great wave clear until level 4, and even with level 4, because I go W quest, I don't have amazing wave clear. Chromie has okay wave clear, but on a very long cooldown. It's 12 seconds. So you will not have too much fun clearing waves. You can also put Rhaegar down there, then he's away from the team, but it's fine, kind of. And I always hide chat in my replays because I don't want to, you know, have anybody say anything negative or whatever. They might regret later on, but we were arguing about who should be going bottom. And this is already one of the things that our team struggles with. We don't have a dedicated solo laner, so we will have issues contesting some things. Sytus makes a good move. He goes, invades their easy camp, but we're too late. But I get a couple of sacks off and I miss a Stormbow, which is because I'm mechanically pretty weak. Hanzo is definitely a hero that you have to train a lot to get good at it. So now a big rotation coming down, and this is all pretty standard early game, and the early game was actually not that bad for us. We didn't play super well, but it wasn't bad. This is something that you can do with Hanzo a lot. It obviously, not obviously, in this situation I don't think it was smart. I thought when I was streaming the game I was like, hey, this is such a smart move because I can see if they're doing this and invading us. But realistically, I see Malthael and Brightwing here. I just saw Kael'thas here. So the only person that could do anything would be Muradin or Genji. Genji was top fighting against the Falstad, so it's unrealistic that they actually are here. That being said, it's not bad to have the vision, but I probably should have used the vision more along here so that they can see a rotation coming in from Muradin, because if he comes from behind, that would be pretty bad. So that's a small mistake, but I should have definitely done that better. And here you see, I mean, obviously I also misplaced the scatter arrow, but Hanzo's wave clear is very, very bad. So having him on a solo lane without support doesn't do that much. It takes me quite a long time. And as you can see, in between I always interrupt my auto attack because I don't play Hanzo that often, and it's something that I should be better at. Now I'm out on because I don't see them anymore. And this time the scout is much better because it allows me to see what's happening. Awkward movement by me here, but I think I didn't find a good angle for the scatter arrow, so that's why I moved in. And again, that's something that you have to just learn with Hanzo, how to do it. I went W build here in this game because there are so many mercenary camps on this map that if you want to do them quickly, W build is much better. And you can also sneak in a boss every now and again, and we did that actually, I think twice, or we tried it twice, but we'll get to that later on. So yeah, again, pretty standard early game. I shouldn't hold on to my Stormbow that long. I just should use it. It's a very short cooldown ability. You don't have to, you know, keep it if you don't secure a kill with it. And again, if I was better, I think I would probably have killed Genji, but at least we get the Kael'thas. Brightwing cleared our camp bottom, which is a little unfortunate because we could have gotten more value out of it, but nobody went with it. So now temples are spawning. So far so good. Everything is actually pretty fine. Let's have a quick look at the talents again. This is also standard. Netherwind is pretty normal. We have Hypershift and Soothing Mist. That's something already that is a little weird because if you go Hypershift here, you normally want to have Peekaboo as a combination, but that being said, Manic Pixie is not bad. I think it's difficult to time this, so for me, I would avoid this, but not like horrible, whatever. Dylone, standard build for Malthael, so whoever goes into the solo lane with him is gonna have a hard time. Reverberation on Muradin is also very standard, and then this is already the first one that I would assume is pretty bad on him, on Genji. And Dragonclaw is basically an activatable, and as soon as you reach enough damage with the deflect, you can activate it and do more damage by activating the spell. And this is not really good. I think this is actually pretty bad. Let's have a look at Hotslogs if we can. I think this is probably the lowest win rate talent on his tier. This, and then Genji, and I can also probably show this to you. Yeah, perfect. Here you go. So Dragonclaw has 42% win rate, and it's only 10% picked. This is really, really bad. I think you should never pick this unless it's getting buffed or something. Shuriken Mastery increases the main ability that does damage consistently, which is your Q. And then Strike of the Heart is also really good if you can aim it perfectly. And we have a lot of squishies that are in the backline. So these two are much better than this one. Because for this one to be effective against us 3 damage dealers, and even Rhaegar, you have to be jumping into us and then activate it. While the other two allow you to jump in and then do something with it, or with the E talent, jump in and do damage automatically with this. This has to be activated, like it has to be earned basically, and that takes a long time, and normally it's not very useful. Again, there's a reason that it has the lowest win rate. So this is pretty bad by me. I walk into the vision of them. I should have gone top, like Rhaegar. You should never contest 2 temples at the same time on this map, I think. Unless you are clearly winning the early game. Like if you, I don't know, for some reason are a talent tier up and the enemy team is really, really bad, then you can do it. But the way we're doing it, we're splitting ourselves quite a bit. Falstad is doing okay, staying bottom, but we lost it to see already. We're gonna lose Rhaegar here probably. And we're getting a little bit off the middle, and we got a little bit of the top. But if you get one temple completely, you get a much more bigger advantage of it. Also just realized that we didn't go over the last talents. So Slam Belt is normal, that's what you're going to go through. Drawn Talents is fine. Chronos Sickness is also, I think, not unusual. But the Falstad build is very interesting to me. He went Wingman, which to me doesn't make sense at all. Wingman is probably the weakest talent on this level 1. But it's also because we have Hanzo, who is doing camps really, really quickly, that you don't want to use Bribe necessarily. I mean, you can steal away the camps that they have, so it's something that you can do. But if we're realistic, I don't think it's really good. I think the W build got buffed a little bit, maybe even Wingman, I'm not 100% certain, but I think overall, you don't want to do this with Falstad. Generally speaking, let's have a look. So Wingman actually has a pretty okay win rate with 50%, but obviously you can also see that the popularity is very low, so that means that it's in a weird position. And then Static Shield, 50%, and Charge Up already 49%. So this is very low popularity. So the win rate is probably not really accurate. I personally don't think that you should go this with Falstad because it doesn't give you any wave clear, and you're a global hero. So the wave clear that you're giving your team is what makes you strong, and this doesn't give you any wave clear. I'm pretty much out of position here and get lucky. I should auto attack Muradin or use my Stormbow to dismount him, but I don't do either of them. And with that, we're losing Chromie. And we're losing more, but we also get the weapon kill. This is a pretty standard opening though in Diamond. It's like a very chaotic way. Now I'm trying to kill these mobs here, which doesn't really make sense. I should just step on the temple and see then if I have to run away. Good stun by the Kel'Thas. Who also goes for his level 7 talent, which is Sun King's Fury. Pretty much normal. And this is where Genji struggles a little bit. He can't kill anybody here, even though like the Rhaegar should be dead. I think if he had Q quest and a couple of secs, he might have been able to kill him easier. Or if he hits a Swift Strike E, not Swift Strike E, with the E talent, might have killed him. So this is I think the only time that he can steal a camp here. So there you go. You have some value. And I have level 7 now, so I'm feeling confident doing camps with Hanzo. So far so good. We are pretty equal on XP. We also didn't lose so much. And here's the first big mistake that I think is... like, I don't want to say it's game-changing, but that's something that you should be looking at if you're playing a hero. Maybe not so often. And you just want to play the hero fantasy. And that's something that I think happened here. It's like Chromie just wanted to be the Chromie that blows somebody up. So she picks Temporal Loop. Temporal Loop has a 70-second cooldown. Why should you not pick this? Well, you can see that we're level 8 and they're level 8, and you can see that Brightwing hasn't picked anything yet. And that is because she's smart. If she... Oops, that's the wrong button. If she didn't wait for it, she could have not picked Cleanse. She could have gone Face Shield, which is really good, or Mystified, which I think can also be pretty helpful, but she already has the Hyper Shift, so she probably would have gone for Face Shield. But now, our Chromie picked Temporal Loop. And as you can see, she waits. And as soon as Temporal Loop is picked, she's going to pick Cleanse right after. Picking Temporal Loop against this lineup is pretty questionable. So we have Genji, who can deflect. He can also go X-Strike, so that he can counter Temporal Loop. Muradin is a hero that you normally don't want to Temporal Loop, because he's just too tanky. Brightwing has Ice Block on level 13, so from then on, she's not a good Temporal Loop candidate. She's also pretty much in the backline all the time, so she can use Cleanse on Kael'thas and Malthael, who are okay targets. Kael'thas also took Mana Addict, so he's going to have a pretty big shield for that, so her Temporal Loop on Kael'thas will not be as effective. And then Malthael from level 13 on can also be unstoppable. So basically you have two heroes that can counter it easily, and one can use it in counter with a heroic. One is an okay target but can be cleansed, and one is a non-target because he has too much life. So picking Temporal Loop is really horrible. And as one of the reasons is that we struggle in teamfights a lot, because we don't have anything that can help us protect our backline. I'm pushing with the Giants here now, which is what you should be doing, because we were up a talent here for a little bit, but also nobody's coming. So me taking out the well here is a really good objective in this case, because the temple is spawning. So we should be able to secure this temple now much more easily. Unfortunately, we get engaged here in the middle, and we can counter-engage. Second issue, we take Hinterland's Blast on a map that has a boss. In my opinion, Hinterland's Blast is an okay heroic. You should think about it as a huge damage spell with a very long cooldown. The issue in this situation is we don't have any setup. We don't have anything that sets up the Hinterland's Blast. We only have Hook and my Stormbolt. But my Stormbolt has to hit from a very far away to stun long enough for them to hit us. Phew! So Hinterland's Blast is also an issue. Let's pause it here real quick, because we want to talk all about the heroics. So this is really bad, I think. It, again, doesn't have any setup. It has too long of a cooldown, and there's a boss. So they have Emerald Wind. He probably could have waited for this to happen, but he didn't. Emerald Wind can clear the boss very easily for them. So that means if we take the boss and they walk in, they can Emerald Wind and we can't do anything against it. If we have Mighty Gust, even if they use Emerald Wind, we can Mighty Gust them away and at least have a fighting chance to get the boss. Hinterland's Blast is okay because it does damage to the boss area, so if they're all standing there in clump, we might get a couple of kills. But realistically, we want to stand on the point. With Gust, you also would have a much easier time, because for Emerald Wind to work, you have to be at least, I want to say, position yourself here, and then have a large radius around the area here, right? With Gust, you can stand pretty much here in the bush and then gust away anybody. You don't have to be in the circle. You don't have to be close to Muradin or anybody who's trying to fight you. So you can just be standing away from the boss pit and still win the fight for your team. So this is really bad. Ancestral Healing is pretty standard, very good healing, so that's fine. I think also Putrid Bile is probably the best heroic on Stitches. Gorge is very gimmicky. You can do things like hook Gorge over the wall and stuff like that, but in this situation, we could have gone Gorge with Gust, for example. So you hook Gorge somebody and then you gust the team away. That works pretty well. Dragon's Arrow is the go-to talent on heroic tier for Hanzo. The Dragon Becomes Me, or whatever it's called, is too weak. It doesn't do a lot of damage. It's similar to Hinterland's Blast, where if it has a good setup, it can work. But the setup has to be like, super good. It has to be perfect, nearly. Otherwise, it just doesn't do enough damage. On the blue side, we see pretty much the perfect talents on a couple of heroes, where it's Emerald Wind is really, really good against us because, again, boss pit, but also because we didn't have a lot of engagement with our heroes. So if they can separate somebody from us, we didn't have a lot of time to react to it and help the teammate that is caught out of position. X-Strike, again, really good against Temporal Loop. And generally speaking, you get Unstoppable as well, meaning if you're in a bad position and you use your E and your D already, you can still get out of the fight. So that's, excellent. Haymaker is a little awkward, but that being said, we have 3 range assassins, so the need for survival is there. But I think his thought was like, I can kill them before they can become a nuisance to me. And you'll see throughout the game that this actually is a very good point. And Malthael goes last rights, which currently is considered the better heroic. Pyroblast. Again, I think this is kind of like the hero fantasy thing. Like, I have a huge Kamehameha and I can kill somebody. And that's why some people pick it. I think it's a horrible heroic. It stuns you for 1.5 seconds. It has a super long travel time, which means that Ancestral Healing can still hit. And then you need to be in range of somebody to cast it through. We have a situation later on where I just walk out of vision from him and he can't finish the cast. So it's pretty bad. Because we reached level 11, I want to point something else out. I know this is very popular with some Chromie players on my level, because you can escape, quote unquote escape. The issue with Bye Bye is that it takes you completely out of the fight. So for example, it's a 5 versus 5 fight. Somebody jumps on you, you panic, and you press your B button. And then you fly back to home, basically. To use the Hearthstone and you're back in your base. You're out of the fight. On this map, it's a pretty big map. So let's say we're fighting about this here, right? We make a mistake and the Chromie can get caught here. She gets caught here, and then she uses Bye Bye. Then she's here. And we're still fighting here 4 versus 5. On Chromie, in my opinion, and I guess that's also the opinion of everybody who's higher tier than me, timeout is much, much better. I've seen some here and there being picked, but I think it's very difficult to attain that in Diamond, because you need to hit the 60 Sandblasts basically before you hit level 11. If you don't do that, like, you don't have a level 13 talent, basically. But timeout, it's so good. It's 7-second ice block, and it's on a 60-second cooldown, so you can use it all the time. Every team fight, you have this ready. And it's 7 seconds. If your team can't save you in 7 seconds, there's nothing that will save you. Bye Bye, sure, might save you by, you're teleporting away, but we're talking team fights here. Should always stay with your team. It's a similar problem that Junkrat has with his Rocket Ride. Sure, you survive that team fight, where you survive that engagement or whatever, but then you're far away, you need to travel back, you're out of the fight, and your team might die. This is much better on Chromie, because it allows you to just stay in the fight, your team can come to you and help you. Also, this doesn't help you getting CC'd. Like, you can still get fully CC'd in here and get killed. This, if, for example, somebody casts Ancestral on you, which will happen later on, and you press this, the Ancestral will still land, but everything else, like damage, stuns, whatever, will not land. So it's a much better talent, and you should not go for Bye Bye if you're somewhat aiming to get better at the game. So we're still pretty even. We trade one fort on the top, but we're gonna lose our bottom fort because of it, as they get the full temple. And here you can see why Hinterlands Blast also is a little bit weak. It can be interrupted. I don't know if the Hinterlands Blast would have changed anything, but yeah. Here comes my Dragon's Arrow. Hit the Malthael, but I used it a little late, I guess. Actually, so that's perfect. So my Dragon Arrow didn't do anything much. Like, here it comes. I used it too late. Stuns Malthael, but that's fine. So now, this is perfect, right? He's super low. Temporal Loop on him, and he gets cleansed, and nothing happens. And this can happen anytime. Like, as long as she doesn't cleanse anything else, she will always be able to cleanse Temporal Loop. And in one level or half a level, she doesn't even need to cleanse Malthael or herself, because they have Ice Block. She doesn't need to cleanse Genji anyway because he has X-Strike. So, it's such a bad choice in this game. And you should always check who you can temporal and who you will guaranteed get a hit off with temporal. If you can't force cleanse out, and we can't force it out. I mean, sure, they can maybe cleanse Hook if they're really, really good, but it's not even worth it because Hook has no follow-up, as we've seen, so using cleanse on Hook is kind of wasted, and they could cleanse Dragon's Arrow. But realistically, Dragon's Arrow needs to hit from a very long distance, and then it only stuns for 2 seconds. It's not, like, super long, and you might be able to cleanse it and save somebody, but realistically, if you just save cleanse for Temporal Loop, you're removing a heroic. This doesn't, like, even if you cleanse, the damage is still there. So you don't negate the full heroic here, but you negate the full heroic on the Temporal Loop, and you always have it ready. You always have Temporal Loop ready. So, this is the first mistake that's going to happen here. My team is very blood hungry. They are not interested in winning the game necessarily at this point. They just want to get kills. They just want to get further ahead. And that's something that you should think about when you play the game. The main objective of Heroes of the Storm is killing this here, the core. Killing heroes is only a means to get to that. So if you can kill a hero like here, super awesome. You get, you know, advantage because they can't soak or they don't get an objective or whatever. What happens now though, unfortunately, and you can hear from my size that it's really bad, we're chasing forever. Hook, we get him now, he uses X-Strike, which also uses X-Strike completely wrong, by the way. So, he uses X-Strike here. If he uses X-Strike here, he's safe, he'll survive, because there's no follow-up anymore. Nobody can follow up on him here. So using X-Strike here is pretty bad, but I guess it's panic. So, we have 1 down, 2 down, Kael'thas just respawned in the base. And what they're doing now is they use Wingman here, which is totally fine, because that's awesome, because then we can steal the camp, right? Perfect. But the boss is here, and we had 2 heroes down on 4 and 10 seconds. And I can take the boss with my level 1, 4, and 7 talents relatively quickly. So, now we decide that we want to do it. And that's all cool, and that's all good. And here's the biggest mistake that happens. First of all, both Chromie and Stitches walk to the left side towards Kael'thas. Nobody cares about him. Kael'thas doesn't really matter to us. I'm pretty low and Rhaegar's pretty low, so his Pyroblast might kill both of us, but you can hook him when he's casting the Pyroblast. But the biggest mistake comes now. So Falstad just fucks off. Why? Because he thinks he has low mana. He wants to go here. This is actually inaccurate. He wants to go here and get mana from this. That's what he wants to do. The issue with this is we don't need his mana. It's completely unnecessary that he has mana. We just need to have a little bit of auto attack damage, and we need somebody who has lots of life to tank the boss. The boss only has, I don't know if that's correct, but it's only 1000 life. Maybe it's correct, I don't know. But it's not, well, it's probably pretty much correct. It's not important that he does damage with his spells. It has no impact at all, because I'm the one that kills the boss with my W build. Stitches doesn't tank the boss for us. Chromie tries to kill somebody again, which is completely unnecessary. Now we're 4 versus 5. Their tank has respawned. I'm in a shitty position. Rhaegar is in a shitty position. He has low health, and our Falstad is somewhere here and got a little bit of mana. So what happens now? I have to disengage with my B. Muradin just jumps in. And here comes Viping. There you go. And we all die. So the issue here is that, and we're going to have a look at this again from before. So here we kill Genji at some point. I'm gonna go all vision and zoom out. So we just killed Genji here. We take this camp with the bribe stacks. That's totally fine. Let's have a look here. Meridius in the base, Malthael, Kael'thas, and Brightwing. We don't have great vision, and our lane here is pushed, so we don't have a way to see where they're going. The boss call is okay, I think. We could have taken a different approach and have got 13 and then tried to do the boss call. That being said, they had one person down, one person respawning, and the second one being on the way. The correct call would be all 5 go on the boss and kill it as fast as possible. If all 5 are attacking the boss, especially with me, it should be very, very quick. Stitches decides it's more important to check the bush, which I somewhat can understand because he's a tank. The issue is nobody needs to check the bush. Like, the only dangerous person is Brightwing coming in. So now he's waiting here way too long. He's like chasing somebody, whatever. We need somebody to tank it. Chromie is also out of position here. That's really bad. And then the biggest mistake is just the false start going for mana. Now everybody is respawning and the whole thing goes to shit. Rhaegar also has very low mana. He's an immediate target for the Muradin. He can't come back into the fight. Chromie unfortunately doesn't do anything, and then if we have Gust here, we just win the boss fight and can get, you know, the boss here. So this is the first thing that really annoyed me, is and we're gonna pause it here because I have seen something else that is really important. Because the false start basically makes the wrong call to go for mana. If you are attacking a boss, never go away from your team. Like, the call already has been made. You need to go on the boss. There's no reason for you to stay away from the boss. Like, there's no reason that you don't get anything out of it. If you go away from mana because you don't have any mana, the time you're away, you're not doing any damage. Sure, when you come back, you maybe have like 1 or 2 spells that you can use. Awesome, you do a little bit more DPS. But during the frame that you're away from the boss, you don't do anything. And in this case, you have Hanzo. You don't need to do a lot of damage. You just need to tank the boss a little bit and do a little bit of auto attack damage, and that's totally fine. You don't need anything else. Let's go back, because we want to see what happens to Kael'thas. So Kael'thas is down here somewhere. Gonna come down here, come up here. We die, we get the boss. So I'm a super juicy target for Kael'thas now, because he thinks, hey, I'm gonna Fire Blast the Hanzo. And now you will see how bad the heroic is. So look at this, he's channeling the spell. I'm even using my heroic, and I don't even realize that I'm getting channeled, but I know that my escape route is gonna go through the bush, because that's where you should be going, because the enemy loses vision. What happens? He loses vision. And he can't use his spell again on me. So this is one of the issues that Fire Blast has. You can't obviously outrange it. Like, once you've casted it, it's gone. But if the enemy breaks vision to you, it's gonna get interrupted. If you get stunned or CC'd in any other way, it gets interrupted. If the dude gets out of range, it gets interrupted. This is the reason why Pyroblast is just a weak heroic compared to Phoenix, because Phoenix has a much shorter cooldown. It has similar DPS if it hits one hero, and it's stationary. So once it's casted, it's casted. Obviously you can, you know, misplace it so it doesn't do any damage, but generally speaking, it's guaranteed damage in a zone that people can't avoid. So Fatsa went full W build. I think it's wrong to do this. Again, I think it doesn't give you any wave clear, and it doesn't give you a lot of damage either. So you probably should just stay away from this unless somebody proves that it's much better on single target hero. But Falset should be a global hero. He should be leading the charge in XP for us, which he does. And you can also see that he does actually have a lot of siege damage. The issue with this is, though, that his siege damage is ramping up by auto-attacking and using Q once. If you have Boomerang on level 7, you just put your Q in, you kill a wave, and you move on. You're much quicker, more efficient. Chromie is fine, I think that's the normal talent. And then Earth Living Enchant, I think, is okay. That being said, if you have Earth Shield, it's just such a guarantee for you to get your Ancestral through. So, this is another interesting situation. Chromie and Falstad are mid, and clearing the wave is fine. That being said, we are level 14, so we don't get level 16 in a while, so this wave is not very important. We already see that somebody is top. That means we should be going either together here or do this here. We see Brightwing bottom, so she's a very good target for us to kill, and we only see Kael'thas here, so we're assuming that we're pretty much safe here to kill Brightwing. She's amazing. She buys so much time here. And we're dead. Now Falstad comes in, now Chromie comes in, but it's way too late. We're losing pretty much everybody here. And we kill Kael'thas and Brightwing, and we also gonna get a very lucky kill on the Genji. I have to see this again because it's so fun how he dies. So he escapes with very little life. Let's go on everybody. That's not what I wanted to do. So he escaped with very little life. And then for some reason he thinks that going in again is a good idea. So the Murden gets a stun off, and I think Genji thinks if I E in and do a Q or something, the Falstad dies, and I think he does actually kill him. But while killing the Falstad, he gets hit by the Chromie and dies. So that's that. And this is here you see why Temporal Loop in this game is completely bullshit. And I don't say that lightly, but she gets the kill on Murden, but the Temporal Loop did nothing. And if he escaped, if he just gets temporaled and walks up and jumps here, she can't catch him because she doesn't have anything to do here. So Malthael, we lost this fight 4 versus 5, which already is pretty bad, but that is how it goes sometimes. Malthael now has taken the full temple on top, and then now Chromie just leaves with bye-bye, which they can't stop her. If it's only Malthael, she was smart, the way that she positioned herself, because I see a lot of people seeing her back now, but she knows that the only person that is alive is Malthael. So her staying here and getting a couple of shots off is totally fine. He can't do anything. He's there, and she's gone. There's nothing that he can do. Even if he uses last rites in the Hall of Storms, you're pretty much, I think you're invulnerable. So he would have even wasted his heroic and not get a stuck off. So it's 16 versus 16. It's actually a pretty close game. They lost all of their forts. We lost all of our forts. So we are pretty even up everywhere. It's 13 versus 11 kills. And overall, we made them a couple of mistakes. They made a couple of mistakes. But they have been better at fighting us 4 versus 5. By Malthael being somewhere else and getting advantage. I think Temporal Loop secured a kill here, which is really good. I miss a Stormbow, it's really bad. I should have, that's... Again, if I was a better Hanzo, I would have probably gotten a kill on the Genji there. Also very late completion of my quest with 12 minutes and 30 seconds. Just one last look at the correct answer. Inevitable End is picked up. Again, counter to Temporal Loop. Ice Block, counter to Temporal Loop. It's just a no-brainer. If you play against a Chromie and you have the chance to go unstoppable, always do this if she goes Temporal Loop. And sometimes that means that you have to wait until she reaches level 8, but that's fine. Waiting for one talent level, or one level basically, it's totally fine. This is really well done by her. She walks into here, they lose vision on her, so they have to walk into the bush as well, and she has a time prep here. So that's something that you can do with Chromie to 8 people in. And here's going to be another situation where we're making too many mistakes and I make too many bad decisions as well. So she probably should have bye-byed here because she can see Murden coming in now, or we can see Murden coming in now. If she bye-byes now, I think she's fine. Whatever I do here, really bad. Actually, Polymorph would have stopped the bye-bye, so I'm even incorrect on this. But unfortunately now the Muradin finds her. Genji goes after her. And this is exactly the reason, or the thing that I wanted to say earlier. Let's go back for a couple of seconds. So, the premise is she's low and she's in danger. But we are 4 people here, and we see Malthael top. And they have also only 4 people because Kael'thas is dead. So we have actually a 4 versus 4 fight on the same talent here. Which is amazing. So I do bullshit, whatever. Did not hit anything. So now Stitches tries to attack here. And Rhaegar walks a little bit uncomfortably around here because she first was here, so he didn't know if he wanted to go here or whatever. So he can't get her in time. And we pause it right here. So, if she has timeout instead of bye-bye, she can either use it now, which buys her little time against the Muradin attacking her, and we can turn around and maybe do some damage against these guys. So we can maybe get a counter kill. We can't really get Muradin off of her because we don't have any peel. Like the hook, short range will not do anything. And now see what happens to the Ancestral. So he uses Ancestral and it hits, so it lands. You can see it's already been casted. I'm not sure if, like, it's probably very close in timing. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's see if I'm correct. So he's very close to killing her. Here's the bye-bye. Here's the stun. Muradin is overlapping her. Let's see if I can... Yes, she has never much... She has 500 life or something like this. So here's the Ancestral cast. So if instead of bye-bye, she has timeout and right now, she survives. Because here's the Ancestral, she presses timeout, and she doesn't die. This is why timeout is also just really good, because you can literally just save your life and get cast like this through. On the other hand, Earth Shield might have been better here, because the hot that you get from Earth Living Enchant doesn't save anybody in these situations. Earth Shield, on the other hand, because it's immediate shield, it can prevent damage. And here's the time where I got really frustrated in the game. Let's have a look. So we're gonna zoom out here, and we're gonna go a little bit further back even. So we just lost Chromie, and there's 2 temples spawning in a couple of seconds. I think they're gonna be announced right now. So Stitches wants to go here, and it doesn't make any sense because from the perspective on now, every team fight now could end the game because 17 with the 17, 30 minutes in, the boss is respawning relatively soon. There's camps on the bottom, and the fort is already done, and the keep wall is already gone in our case. So you choosing fights now, even if they're on the same talent tier, 4 versus 5 is a bad decision. Like, you should try to avoid this. We don't want to fight, we want to put pressure on the map. Take map objectives, split them up so that they have to fight into our 4 people with hopefully only 4, even only 3 people. And they made the mistake all game long to keep Malthael solo. Brightwing is rarely solo on the map. Like, she rarely goes on the temple and soaks there or whatever. She normally is far away from the thing that is the map objective at this point, and just stays with the team. So he gets caught. Malthael is a horrible target for Stitches to go on. He has lots of health that can be a big advantage for Malthael. So now he's in. Like, this dude... I'm sorry to do this, but don't ever roll in with your E into this situation. You don't even see anything. You don't even know what's going on. He E's in, so he doesn't have an escape now. Everybody's arriving. We're doing the camp down here, and we're pinging it, right? Like, there's pings happening. we shouldn't be fighting you. You don't have a healer here. So now we try to get away, and look what happens if you don't have your E up. You get slowed, and you get killed. So all 5 just converge on these guys and kill them. You could give also crap to us because we're not with the team. That being said, this is the correct objective. Like, taking this is much better than whatever is happening here. Like, the vision is not important. There's no camp here. The temple's only activated in 30 seconds. The kill doesn't give us anything. So don't stray away in these situations. In this late game situation, try to stay as a team as much as possible. So I want to clear the wave here so that we can get a little bit more advantage of these giants, but unfortunately they clear them very quickly. I don't hit the hole in the wall. So 18 versus 17, the blue team will get level 20 much earlier. What do we do now? The options that we have are actually pretty okay, because again, you can see Brightwing and Kael'thas bottom. That means they split up again, and this time it's a little bit more dangerous because their Brightwing can teleport into the fight wherever he is, or wherever the fight is, I mean. So we see Genji here alone, which is great, and now we see Malthael, which is even better. But we're only 3 people, so me shooting a couple of arrows here is totally fine. But now we're getting pinged back. In my opinion, there's 2 ways to look at this. You can give them both temples and lose probably a keep, and most of the keep wall and probably half of the keep here for both of the temples. Or you try to force them at least to teleport and then not back away. We have enough time to back away. They don't have great hard CC. They have Muradin jumping in, and they have Kael'thas stunning us. Polymorph doesn't really stop you from running away. So us standing here and posturing here is totally fine. And this is actually a pretty good time to run away now, because Muradin is here. He's the hard CC that they have. So we don't want to be here anymore. We're posturing. We see Kael'thas coming. That means only Brightwing is bottom, which is perfect for them. That's exactly what they want to do. They want to have Brightwing on the temple. So for the first time in their team comp, they're actually doing the correct thing. So now our heroes have respawned. Our Falstad flies in very aggressively, and I want to hit the Kael'thas, and I do. Good for him. He went into vision. He uses mana shield, and we lose a keep. So now, temporal loop on Genji. Yay! We killed somebody. Where's the issue for the blue team? Brightwing is not there, and I think Genji used his X-Strike earlier to kill our 2 guys up, so he doesn't have the cooldown ready. So for the first time in ages, we get a kill here. So the death time of this late in the game are pretty long. So there's nearly a minute without Genji. We get the temple, and now my team makes the call, we do the boss. I immediately react to it, and this is a very, very good call. You don't want to fight 18 versus 20, you don't have Storm Talents. It's really bad. But they just lost somebody, so we want to take an advantage out of this, because we're 4 versus 5. Heroics are probably on cooldown for both teams, but normally you don't want to fight 4 versus 5, even with Storm Talents, even if you have the advantage. Around the boss, it can be very difficult to fight. If it's just an objective like, I don't know, Infernal Shrines or something like this, you probably don't want to fight 4 versus 5 or versus 20, because the Storm Talents are so powerful. But on the boss doesn't care who's closer to him, like he will just hit that person. And the stun is an issue for everybody, so it's, you know, a very even playing field, which is dangerous for both parties. Unfortunately, our Falstad again makes the wrong decision and tries to chase somebody around. It's even the Muradin, who has the most health on the enemy team. So it doesn't make sense to chase him, and he finally joins us. And as you can see, I melt the boss very, very quickly, so it's not necessary for us to chase anybody or try to not get another kill. This time now, the Muradin makes a mistake, because he engages into us and causes us to actually easily get the boss and follow them. So now this is correct what we're doing. We just lost the keep, we're down at Storm Talent, but they're still down a hero. So we can take this here very, very easily and force keep, even if we're down talent, because we have 2 mercenaries then walking for us, the boss and the giants. So we can equalize the keep now, and it's a very, very good call, I think. It's obviously a little bit risky because we do have no storm talents. So the Kael'thas has always tried to dodge a couple of abilities by walking here and then walking in. So now that he is dodged here, he has to go into the wall because the boss is coming, Falstad is coming, Chromie is coming, so everybody's coming for him, and it's very, very dangerous. So now him walking in here is really, really important. By the way, his level 20 is also crap. Master of Flames is don't go this. Like, unless you're playing gold or something where everybody spreads the bombs endlessly, this is just wasted level 20 heroic. So now I hit him with the Storm Arrow, and he gets hooked at the same time. So Stitches and me made the same correct decision by focusing on the Kael'thas. The Brightwing, I don't know if she doesn't have Cleanse, but I think it would have been better to Cleanse. And then again, Pyroblast doesn't get out because he gets CC'd. If you have Phoenix, you just put it on the boss or in here, and it just does damage even if you die. So this looks really, really good for us. We killed another person, and then we use Temporal Loop again. And guess what? It's ice blocked. Stitches probably could have hooked her. That being said, he doesn't have vision on her, so it's difficult for him to predict where she's using ice block. That being said, the follow-up on the Temporal Loop is also pretty bad. Because if Chromie doesn't time it perfectly, if you hook it out, the damage might be negated by your own hook. Genji engages into us, it's fine. We just want the keep here. So now we kill Malthael. Unfortunately for us, he can return. So we just want to focus the keep here now, equalize the keep, get level 20, and then probably get out because they only have 1 person down. We've also used all of our heroics now. And while we do get a second kill, we don't have a tank anymore. So it's very difficult for us, especially because the Rhaegar is also very low on mana. Overall, we made the best out of the situation. Like, we were down heroics, storm talents. We took the boss a little risky, but 4 versus 5. And then we forced the keep. And now the keeps are equalized again. We're on the same building front as we were before. It's also 18 versus 16 kills. So again, this game is actually pretty balanced because both teams make a lot of mistakes. So, what's next for us? I'm pausing here because it's an interesting situation we're going to see in a second. So when is it disappearing? So now it's disappearing. I will have to see this again. Because we take this here now, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Myrddin is now in the bush. Yeah. How did that happen? I want to see that. Because that was confusing me, because I specifically scouted this with my bow. But I guess he gets in right as the bow disappears. Here he comes. Yeah, the bow disappears now. It's very, very unlucky. Anyway, so now the situation is again, they have 1 temple. And we have 1 down and they have 1 down. Unfortunately for us, it's our tank. So engaging into them can be very difficult. And they only miss an assassin, which is not the worst because they still have 2 assassins. So let's see what we're doing. Again, he uses his E to just be quicker at some places, and it's paying off for the Myrddin. My scatter shots are really, again, pretty shit. I use my Stormbow to just like get the Falstad out. Earth Grasp Totem, really, really good here against the Myrddin. If I was better, he would be dead, but luckily for me, he still dies. And a little unfortunate, the Brightwing probably shift art. So basically, she press teleport and then you shift R as a Q command to use Emerald Wind as soon as you land. For her, that meant that because Myrddin died, the Q command was done right away. Or she was just hammering R. That could also be it. But anyway. So now we're 4 versus 5. We're 21 with the 20. We actually have a lead for the first time since, like, I think level 13 or something. And let's see what we do with it. Our keep took a lot of damage. This will be taken out by Genji in the very near future. I'm going up to take the camp. I don't know if I ping back the stitches. I don't think it's necessary. I also don't attack the minion here, which is bad. That being said, it really doesn't matter because the wave clear this late in the game is actually pretty good, no matter what. So, what does this at us? We are gonna lose this keep again. Genji's gonna snipe it. We just got the full objective here. And this is also super low. So we should take this out as well to equalize what's going to happen to our keep here. Unfortunately for us, our Falstad gets engaged. Is this bad for us? No. He survived the heroic of Malthael. He still has pretty okay life, about like 300 or so with the shield. Genji is somewhere here trying to kill the keep. And these two guys are here. They still don't have their tank. And we pretty much... have all our cooldowns again, I think. But the most important thing is we are actually all pretty alive. Nobody has lost a lot of life except Falstad. So it should be a pretty good situation for us. Great time trap. Our keep falls. It's not the end of the world. Unfortunately, the Kael'thas gets the Pyroblast through. So we trade 2 for 1, but the Malthael is now dead for 70 seconds. And the Meridian is still dead. So we lose our Falstad. And again, these guys are only out for blood. That's the only thing they want to do. They want to kill people. And it's the worst thing that you can do, especially late in the game. So while I want to take this keep, which is the correct call, just like take the keep, equalize the keeps so that we have catapult spawn and they have catapult spawn. Chasing here and getting a kill means that they're 3 versus 4. So that means we can't go core. Even if we get this kill, we can't go core. It's not possible. And we'll see. Incredibly well done by the Kael'thas. I don't think on purpose, but there you go. We use a lot of cooldowns to get 1 kill. And I joined the team because I know what's going on. I joined the team because again they're chasing and I can't get the keep alone. So we get the kill here. Run away. And look where we end up being and look where we're going and why I mean it's on me as well, but I was really tilted by this. So there's no building here and there's 2 heroes here. Sure, it's, you know, they're dangerous, whatever. So but I think we can just walk up here and take the keep. Unfortunately for me, my team thinks, and especially my tank thinks, we have to walk around here and go here for some reason, and I don't know, I still can't get why. So when I go in here, I get caught, get haymakered, and just die because I can't do anything. That's pretty much on me, but the Stitches shouldn't walk like this. You shouldn't walk around here and walk here. The minions that you get, the XP is so neglectable, it's kind of unimportant. And you have everybody gathered here, so one person splitting up doesn't make sense, to me at least. That being said, as a Hanzo, I shouldn't be going in as the first person. As soon as I see the Stitches walking somewhere else, I should realize that and just D over here and run away. Me being so focused and being so like, oh, we can kill this here, leads to me dying and us having 1 person more down, which is really, really bad. And now follows another situation where it's just like, you shouldn't do this. So Chromie uses her W to try to kill the Genji. Let's see here. It's a 12-second cooldown, and it does, at the moment, does 1095 damage. Doesn't hit. That's 1. We want to kill the keep, right? We want to equalize the keep. Another W onto the hero. Another Q. So at this point, we probably need to fall back because it's 3 versus 3 and they're clearly out damaging us. That being said, we also got a heroic out, so it's kind of nice against the trade for Putrid Bile. Good cleanse, good ancestral. So now we definitely traded a lot of good heroics. We even got the X-Strike out, and she uses her W again to kill a hero. I think in this case it's kind of fine because we're fighting, right? But if she just uses a W once on this dies immediately. So instead of focusing on heroes, you should always try to understand that this here is your objective. The building. So at this point we're just pinging like crazy. And because this took so long to take this keep, we're actually losing our stitches now. I think at least. No, he's kind of getting away. My bad. But yeah, this took way too long. The keep is the important thing, not the heroes. Not killing heroes is important. It's the keep. So let's have a quick look. We have lost the keep wall here completely. That means the temple will easily take the keep if we give them a full temple. On their side, they still have a full keep wall here and a well. So this keep will not. I don't actually know why this has a little bit of damage, but interesting. So at this point, it's important for us that we either get a full temple ourselves, or we trade temple shots. Because if they get both temples, they just win the game. If they get a full temple, they pretty much have us in checkmate position, because we can't give them another temple afterwards. Because if you have all keeps down, one temple kills the core. So I'm sneaky. I see that there's 2 temples spawning. This one and this one. This means the boss is going to be open. They have shown throughout the game that they always split Malthael to one temple and then contest the other one. So me, being the smart as I am, I'm saying Stitches and me, we're going to go boss. And we have good vision. We have vision here. So we see if they're going from the bottom. And we have an okay wave pushing here, so that's pretty good. And we're going to go and look at this from this vision. We don't see Kael'thas from our side, and we don't see that they're all here, because we only see 2 because we have vision here. But this is a very, very smart move, in my opinion. We now have seen everybody. And what these 3 should be doing is either contest this a little bit and just posture around it, or try to get this one. What they shouldn't be doing is moving down here to show that we're on boss. And guess what they're going to be doing? So you can see, like, I'm super quick with the boss. They get engaged and the fault set flies down here. This is the worst way that you can escape. This is really, really bad. We're going to go back again. And I'm not saying again that this dude is horrible, whatever, but the decision making here is really bad. So Chromie again is out for blood. Her only focus is, I want to kill Kael'thas. There's no look at like, what is the map objective? What's happening around us? What is my team doing? She only sees Kael'thas and she wants to kill him. Temporary loop. He casts Pyroblast, which I think you don't get through if Temporary loop is casted on you, but he gets cleansed. So he hits. Oh, actually, he cancels the Pyroblast because he gets scared. But because of the engagement of the Falset and the Chromie, everybody jumps down here because they see that somebody is going in here. This leads them to see that we're on the boss, which they haven't seen before. We lose the Falstad, we lose the Rhaegar, and with this, we can't finish the game. So this is the biggest mistake, and this is something that really infuriated me during the game. We're gonna go back again. They're all here. We pretty much know this because we had vision about this. Chasing the Kael'thas here doesn't do anything. He's not important. Just leave him be, let him escape. You can post around here, which is totally fine. And then see if they stay on the temple. They don't know that we're doing boss. They have no idea. They have no idea that we're here. They don't know anything. They have no idea. But with us engaging here and then panicking and then running, we're basically showing them the boss. It's not super bad because we still get the boss in the end. But the issue is that we nearly lost the game here and we don't win the game here. They're super low. We're trying to also follow up. We get a kill as well in advance. Chromie kills Brightwing, I kill Keltas here. And now I'm unsure what the future holds for us, because it's 3 versus 2. We don't have a healer. They didn't have a healer. So in my opinion, we probably could have gone core here. The issue is Genji can kill low HP heroes when they're even lower HP, which is what Chromie has. And Malthael can respawn, which he just did. So we probably can't really go on the core. Chromie decides we can't go on core, teleports back, and therefore she runs away. So now we have the issue that we had before. We have 2 temples. One will kill a keep. And 2 will win the game. So I go on here, and my Stitches decides, you know what, we're gonna go top. And this is a bad decision making, because first of all, I can't tank the shrine because there's already 3 mobs on it, so I'm just gonna lose my life. And second of all, we can't contest 2 shrines with Chromie being in the base with 2 people. Just like clear this and then continue to do this. Me tanking this so much is also very, very bad. Like, I shouldn't just be standing here and tanking all the shots. I just should be like pinging. I don't ping, and then I just run away and nearly die even. So now I Hearthstone back. We get half of the shots here, so it's not too bad, but him splitting from us is really, really bad because we don't get value out of this. So they get this shrine now, and we just trade basically the shrines because of it. If we stay together, they can't force one of the shrines. Now we're all back, and we lose the keep, and they lose the keep. Good thing is we took a little bit of the temple already, so they don't even penetrate the shield. For us, on the other hand, we pretty much secure our victory here, you would think. I'm gonna go back for this one more time. So, why is this important what we're doing right now? Getting the temple like this and getting the core down means even if there's 2 temples spawning, we will have the chance to win the game because we did more damage to their core. That means if we trade temples, we will win quicker because both teams have lost all of their buildings. That means the next temple shoots on the core. But if it's 2 temples, we can just sit on 1 temple very quietly and safely, and just as 5 people, and kill their core. Because we have the advantage. We already have 82% down, and even further. We go, I think, to 60-something%. And I want to see how he gets caught, because that's also pretty game deciding. So, we don't have vision here. Let's see what he does. So you get the keep as well, and then we do some damage to the core. So he wants to get the... So he's in vision. Like, all this time he's in vision because they have the vision here. Okay, he gets away. And then he just gets dead. So now, we're in a position where everybody's chasing, everybody's doing things, everything's dying. And I just run away because I can't be in this fight. I don't want to die. I want to try to defend the core. Chromie also survives. And they have 5 versus 2. So what they should be doing is just go for the core. There's no way that Chromie and me are going to defend the core against them. Brightwing teleports back. Genji teleports back. There's 4 people now here because Brightwing moved in. And for some reason they get so afraid here from Chromie and me that they just give up. This is a major mistake. These people are down for 30 more seconds. There's only 2 people here. None of them are very healthy in terms of overall health. Engaging with them again with the Muradin or whatever into Genji E We couldn't have held this even if we wanted to. So we get an extra life. The enemy team makes a big mistake, doesn't go for the core. So what is the next move? The temples are announced. We have top temple and we have bottom temple. This is perfect for us. This game is won. The red team has won this game. The blue team's core is at 55%. Both teams have the same amount of shield. This means that if we, as a red team, just stand on a temple as 5 persons and have control over it, we're going to win. The only way that they win is that they split up their team, get a temple, and get it for the full duration without us getting any shots on their core. That means the only thing we have to do now, the only thing, is to stick together as 5 and take 1 temple. Unfortunately, our Chromie decides to, again, die for no reason, but we get a counter kill. And it's even better now, because they don't have a healer, we have a healer, we can out-sustain them on the point. I want to clear this up, because we still have 10 seconds before the temple spawn. So, we are 4 here bottom, Stitches goes top. No, you should stick together. There's no reason to go alone. So he now says we're gonna go top. These two are deciding, I don't care what our team is pinging, we're gonna do our own thing. So they clear the whatever here is happening, and he's just clearing this. It's not bad because this could do damage to our core in the long run, but there's another wave through here. There's a catapult, like there's catapult spawning. So even the giants won't be getting an easy way to the core. So this is pretty much useless. Rhaegar finally decides, hey, we have to go on top. Here's the issue. Malthael is much better against Stitches. I'm also late, and I'm also pretty bad on Hanzo. So I miss both of my shots. I auto-attack the fucking thingy here. And that's the end of the game. We just lose the game because this dude is doing something that is completely unnecessary. Like, there's no, like, this has 0 value. He's still not flying up here because he chose the upgrade for the Hinterlands Blast instead of having more mount stuff. And now we just die. And the game ends because they get the full temple down here. Not even the full temple, they get enough to end the game. So there were so many mistakes in this game that I thought it was a good idea to learn from this. There's many talent mistakes, there's many heroic mistakes, and then there's many decisions that are just horrible. Important also for me, I played really bad. Like, I don't think that I played very well, but I only had 4 deaths. So if you look at the overall concept, like, Kelthas at 8 deaths, that's way too much. Both at 8 deaths, Stitches 8 deaths, and then 5 deaths on the Rhaegar, also very, very high. Damage-wise, we're pretty good. We out-damaged them pretty much everywhere, but if you look at how the game has gone in terms of XP, Chromie and Genji are leading the XP game. This is horrible. Falset should be much higher, Brightwing should be much higher. And this shows you a little bit that you can win games even without the proper solo lane. You can win games even if they have a global hero and you don't have a global hero. But the important thing is that you have to, like, realize the things that you're missing. The Genji did an amazing job. He understood that his team was not doing well in XP, so he just went from lane to lane and did what he needed to do. He went soaking XP, and that helped them win. And then they always split the correct heroes. Like, Malthael is such a good one-on-one hero that he's fine to be on the shrine. He also has a respawn on level 20, so if he dies here, it's totally okay, because he can just respawn. Us reacting so slowly just means that we as team didn't communicate well, and obviously this is an issue that a lot of people have in Hero League. Nobody's using voice chat, and nobody used voice chat in this game either, which is very apparent. But if you look at the decision making, Genji says, like, fuck it, I'm just gonna stay on the bottom and win the game with this. And they react the correct way. They just move up and contest this because they know that they can't give us the shrine. So the issue here is then, is there correct decision making? Like, am I correct to say the Falset and the Rhaegar should have done something differently? Well, if, when, whatever, you never know. 2020, hindsight is always 2020. That means that now that I've seen the game and I've played the game, I can say like, oh well, if they were here, we kill the Malthael and we get the shots as well, and we win the game. But the Muradin is also contesting this. Kael'thas is walking up here, and nobody's contesting the Genji. So maybe it's actually the incorrect way for me to say like we should have contested this. Maybe the correct way is Rehgar and Falstad go in here and kill the Genji, and we win it like this. You know, like there's no way for me to 100% say like, yeah, this is the correct or the right move or whatever. But overall, late game, I think you should always stick with your team. And splitting so far from your team is just an issue. And for us, as a team, we just had a very bad game because we never stuck together, we never did stuff together, and we never really took advantage of the things that we could do. And then lastly, our draft, and this is one of the reasons that I really don't like triple range, had so many weaknesses and so many situations where if they just ran into us, like with the Muradin, nothing could happen. Like the Muradin jumps into us and attacks one person, and we can't do anything. The Sychus can't protect anybody from that. Then the Genji comes after it, and then the Malthael runs in, and we don't have anything to prevent people from getting killed. And that goes back to the draft. Like we drafted Hanzo, Chromie, and Sychus first. It's okay draft. Like Hanzo and Chromie, 2 damage healer. Sychus is an okay tank. So Rehgar is a healer. You don't like healers. All of them would have been fine. Lucio, Uther, doesn't really matter. But the Falstad pick doesn't fulfill any role that we don't already have. It is range damage, awesome, we already have that. Sure, it's a global hero on the map, which can be useful, but he didn't even use it as a global hero. So you should always think about, if your last pick, do I really need to pick that one hero that I want to play, or is something missing from my draft? And in this case, if we, for example, picked Sonya, which was open, we would have something that can fight against the Malthael. She might not win every time, but if she hits, the poison spear, if she hits him a couple times with a W, he can't contest the shrine anymore, and then has to move away in the earlier situation or whatever. Overall, this is one of the messiest games that I've played this season. And I pointed out a lot of mistakes that other people made, but if you look at my game specifically, like how I played, it was also pretty bad. And that's because I don't play Hanzo that often. And again, it shows you that if you don't master a hero and then you go into Hero League and play it, you will have a bad time. I mean, this game wasn't horrible. Like I didn't completely suck. I made a couple of good decisions. I was doing very well on the wave clear, on the camp clear, which is what you should be doing with Hanzo on Sky Temple. But overall, this game frustrated me really bad when I was playing it, and when I rewatched the replay before I did this video, I was really frustrated because I thought like, oh, my teammates made so many mistakes. The important thing now for me is that I need to understand the mistakes, like not sticking together, choosing heroics that are easily countered, face checking bushes with my engaging ability or my escape ability, like the Falstad. I shouldn't do these things. So whenever you have a bad game and think that your teammates made obvious mistakes, take these mistakes and learn from them, and not just blame the Falstads and the Chromies and the Hanzos that you play with and they suck. Just learn from those mistakes. Don't engage, 4 versus 5. Or from the blue team on, surely level 20, but you lost a guy. Don't engage into a boss. Just let them have the boss, clear the boss. You're still up a level, and don't die. So these things that are happening all over the time, like you always have games that are going bad. Don't focus too much on like, oh, I've lost this game, or oh, this person lost my game. Learn from these people. And sometimes you will not learn from it because it's something very obvious, like, don't E into a bush as a Falstad. That should be something that if you play Hero League, you should know already. But it's a good reminder nevertheless. Like sometimes we're just like, hey, I'm just gonna take this shortcut because it makes sense in this moment. But the shortcut is actually very, very dangerous. So just think about this and learn from these mistakes. It's been a very long video. I hope you didn't fall asleep and you did learn something about Heroes of the Storm today. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope the next couple of videos will be a little bit more positive about winning again. But I thought one loss couldn't hurt. Thank you very much again, and have a good one. Bye-bye.